So
I'm
here
just
you
going to
go.
do like a half hour or
You're
so.
alive. No,
Yeah,
you're gonna
okay.
do an hour,
No,
please.
no, I cannot. No, I did not prepare an hour. I cannot do an hour.
You'd be
Okay,
surprised what you
no,
know.
no. Okay. You can do general things for the
Husband,
celebrating a
I can
holiday.
answer a
That's
bunch
all.
of questions. You
Oh,
can
that's
answer
okay.
them.
Yeah, I'll stay around, but I did not prepare for an hour.
You cannot discuss things while the
Um,
thing is open and recording it.
One good evening. I'm Rabbi Schaefer. We want to try to help everyone observe and enjoy the wonderful holiday of Sukkot, which we've been describing. I believe it was Tuesday night. We spoke about it a great deal. And there's many, many things yet to be covered, and we hope to cover some of them now. We had mentioned against our review that if it's at all possible for you to go to a synagogue that has a sukkah or a neighbor has a sukkah, this would be absolutely ideal. If you want to make one, and some people are very good with their hands. There isn't too much time yet to do it. It would have to be made on Friday. We cannot make it on Shabbat, on Shabbos, because this involves different labors which we're not permitted to do. The sukkah, as we explained, preferably has four walls, can have a door. Sometimes it can even have just three walls or two walls and a partial wall that we had mentioned Tuesday night. All these things constitute what you would call a temporary dwelling. That's what we're doing. We're leaving the comfort of the house, the security of the house, in which we feel kind of independent, like we don't need anybody. We feel that we're doing very well on our own. Yes, we have our needs, we have our problems, our bills, our worries, our frustrations, and various problems. Yes, of course we do. But basically, a person comes home to their apartment or to their house, and that's their little castle, as he spoke about that sometimes. And you feel kind of secure there. You feel like you don't need anybody. And you feel kind of safe. And we thank God that these things are so. The one to thank for all this is the Almighty. So you can understand their principle behind leaving all that security and at least for part of the day, part of the night, to spend some time in the sukkah where God has given us this commandment to leave the security of the home, even if it's just for your meals. By the way, you can use a sukkah. We've been having some nice weather now, some beautiful weather. You can even read there. You can play chess there. You can do all kinds of things that you normally enjoy doing in the house. Listen to music on the weekday part of the holiday. All these things are very, very appropriate in the sukkah because you're supposed to do teshuvu, te'ain, teshvu, ke'ain, teshuvu. You should dwell in the sukkah the way that you normally dwell in the house, at least for your meals and at least for part of the time when you can enjoy uh, uh, doing many, many wonderful things there in the sukkah. So there's a blessing that is recited Friday night. We're going to make Kiddush in the Sukkah, and we're going to make the blessing on the wine, and we're going to say the special Kiddush to show that this is a holy evening. And we're also going to make a blessing on the whole holiday. Make a blessing on the Sukkah, and make a blessing on the entire holiday. It's called Shechianu. We praise God and thank God that Shechianu, He kept us alive, Hikimanu, and He kept us in existence. The Higiyanu, we reached Lesman Hazeh to this time. So many people aren't familiar with this holiday. They're familiar perhaps with Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. There are other holidays that people aren't so familiar with. This is one to investigate. You can investigate it online too, as well. And your nearest synagogue, hopefully that you have an Orthodox synagogue that's somewhere in reach, or at least an Orthodox rabbi that you can speak to, in order to really appreciate the holiday. And repeat the verse that I did read the other day that have to do with the observance of the holiday. On the 15th day of the seventh month. Remember, we said that in the scriptures, the five books of Moses, the months are not called by names, they're called by numbers. Month number one isn't Tishrei. It should be this one, right? It's where Rosh Hashanah at the beginning of the year. But it actually, the numbering starts from when we became a people, Nisan. That's the month of Passover, when became a nation, freed by the Almighty from the slavery of Egypt and the really indignity and abuse, not just slavery, horrible abuse of Egypt. So that's month number one. Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, of Elul. There's 6 months there. Tishrei is actually Chodesh HaShvi'i. It's the seventh month. And because it's the seventh month, and the word Shvi has different meanings, which I'll share with you now. Not only is it the number 7, counting from the first month where Passover occurred, but also it's a word that indicates the oath that we took before we were born in order to be righteous and not wicked. Before a baby is born, an angel teaches the baby the Torah and also makes a promise it's going to be a good person. That gives us the power to choose good and not evil as well. And there's another meaning behind Chodesh Shvi. It's Soveya. It's a month that's absolutely satisfied and full with wonderful, wonderful commandments, wonderful mitzvahs, and this wonderful holiday of Sukkot. So it's really a very satiated and very satisfied month. When a person has a meal, sometimes you have just a little bit and it entices you to eat a little more. Sometimes you have just a snack or partial meal. You're on the run. You can't really enjoy yourself. When you can sit down and enjoy a really full course meal, you feel really satisfied afterwards that you really, really have enjoyed the meal in every respect. Let's make that spiritual. Let's make that spiritual, where we have not just pursued money, not just pursued our lusts and our delights and all kinds of foolishness. Let's satisfy our neshama, our soul, with these wonderful, beautiful, wonderful deeds that we do. And I had mentioned also that this holiday of Sukkot greatly stresses unity. That in the wilderness, first we built these huts. We had to have some place to live. We're in the wilderness. We're out in the wild. We're subject to all the elements, dangerous creatures, including dangerous snakes and scorpions, which are very severe creatures. And we're exposed to the heat of the desert. So, having faith in the Almighty, he says, get up and leave Egypt. I mentioned the other day, and I'll repeat it again, some of these things, that as bad as a place is, and you and I have had to perhaps dwell either in an apartment or a town or a neighborhood that was really awful for many reasons. Maybe the people were awful, the people were disrespectful, God forbid they were dangerous, whatever. You and I have been in situations like that and couldn't wait to get out of there. Nevertheless, you may have also experienced this, that even though you were moving to a better house and a better apartment, it's time to leave, you feel a certain, like a little sadness, because this has been your home. As many faults as it may have had, there's no place like home. Remember that expression and that song. So when we were in Egypt and suffering and abused, at least you still were in a house, you were in a building, you were in some sort of a structure, right? Unfortunately, you went out to work, you went out to be beaten, whipped, and have horrible remarks and insults, etc., hurled at you, and all kinds of terrible labor, backbreaking labor, and who knows what else they gave to us, as we know. But still, it was some kind of a home. Maybe not very ideal, but at least it was something. Now, picture yourself right now, this moment, because we're going to do this tomorrow night. You pick yourself out comfortable home, either heated, air conditioning, ventilated, whatever, all the nice comforts there, solid walls, solid roof, everything beautiful, right? Now you're going out to a flimsy hut. You're in the wilderness. And you don't even have one of those fancy Winnebago trailers to go into, anything like that. You're going to a very flimsy hut, which is subject to be blown around by the wind, and the rain can get in. This took enormous faith that God is going to take care of us. And as horrible as things were in Egypt, he is going to give us his wonderful Torah and a wonderful way of life and a beautiful land. If things were delayed, and you'll tell me they were delayed 40 years and this and that and the other thing, it's their own foolishness. Our own mistakes cause delays and cause all these things that happen, which only make us really, really to really appreciate what the Almighty does for us and the fact that He provided miraculous food, miraculous water, miraculous protection, and we earned, as they say, that He should surround us with His clouds of glory. I mentioned the word clouds, it's really shields. They're actually shields of God's Spirit protecting us. Anyone try to shoot at us, anything at all, throw stones at us. Do you know they had missiles in those days too? They had a system by which you could shoot rocks very, very high heights and very fast and very damaging, etc. All these things the Almighty protects us from. And He's protecting us now as well. So it's not just commemorating. We have to relive this. The Torah is to be lived and relived. That when we leave the comfort and security of the house, go into the sukkah. Some people have really beautiful sukkahs. That might be nicer than their house. I don't know. But at any rate, it still only has the vegetation, branches with the leaves for the roof, not a solid roof. And you hear the wind, you hear the howling. Sometimes you hear the neighborhood screaming. You might hear animals, etc. All the things that say, I'm outside here now. I know some of you love it. Some people love camping. This is mitzvah camping. This is Torah camping. And that's what we have right here. And I very strongly recommend if you have some opportunity, some access, if there's anyone in the neighborhood that you could contact and ask me, may I just simply see your sukkah? I'm sure they'll be nice enough to say, why don't you join us? Why don't you join us also for a meal in the sukkah? I just got invited by one of my students to attend a meal in their sukkah. Thank God we've gotten so many invitations, we can't really answer them all and take advantage of them all. But the point is that it's a holiday of love. It's a holiday of caring for each other and sharing with each other. So far I've been spending a lot of time about leaving the security of the house. There's another primary commandment on the holiday of Sukkot that I'd like to work on today too. We spoke about on the 15th day of the 7th month, and that starts Friday night for Shabbos. Shabbos will be sitting in the sukkah Sunday straight through Friday, and even on the following Saturday. That's a week from this Saturday. We'll talk about that more next week. At any rate, it's a mitzvah that's continued. It's a continuous mitzvah for even more than a week, as we will see. There's another mitzvah that's done on Sunday through Friday that I want to learn about now today. And I actually am holding, probably what in the world am I holding in my hand over here? So I'll explain soon. God says to us another commandment. This is a portable commandment. The sukkah is stationary, right? You should take for you on the first day pre-Eitz Hador, the fruit of the splendid tree. I'll try to explain what these things are shortly. Kapos Tamorim, palms, branches of the palm tree. Kapos Tamorim, I have one right in my hand. Banat Beitzavos, and a branch of a kind of a twig that's rope-like. Wow, what does it do to be rope-like? The Ave Nochel and what we call willow twigs of the valley, which we simply call willow twigs. Usmachtem, look at that word. You should rejoice, and rejoice before God your God for 7 days. This is a holiday of celebration and happiness. Last night, I want to repeat it again tonight. If anybody heard it, it's worth repeating again. I'll tell you about it soon. Celebrate computer screen. I'm going to try to do that.